Alright guys, so today I'm going to show you the HDMI Switcher. This is my picture-in-picture device. It takes two HDMI sources, HDMI 1 and HDMI 2, and it will put them into one signal for your TV, which is over here. There's my camera on screen, and there's my game from Crazy Taxi. I turn the music off just for copyright reasons. Generally I don't need to, but it's going to be on screen for a while. Here's my camera. It's a Zoom Q2N 4K. It runs off of AA's, but you could also power it through micro USB and a little wall adapter. So that's what I'm doing there, and I got HDMI out and I've got audio out through the headphone jack. And if you know Zoom, they got great audio, so I also get a wide angle camera plus great audio. Let me switch over here. You can see the other side of it. 1080p, 60 frames. I get a wide angle, and then I got the highest audio quality at 96 24-bit. Which, by the way, when you record that, some Windows computers may not play the audio unless you update your codec, but Mac people and iOS, iPad, iPhone users won't have a problem with that, just so you know. So headphone jack into my capture device. So here's my original Xbox that is displayed on screen. That little green light back there, that is the pound HD link adapter. So it converts the Xbox into HDMI, so I get 480p, and I actually set it to 480p only. It goes over here into my HDMI splitter, which removes copy protection. It doubles as that, but I use it as a signal booster, and I'll explain that why in just a second. Here's my M Classic, which takes the 480p signal and it will upscale it to 1080p. Blue light means it's in retro mode, so it maintains the 4:3 aspect ratio. It goes out into my main source on my picture-in-picture device, and of course here's my camera here, which is actually the picture-in-picture. And the reason you have to plug it in this way is because your main source is the only one that gets audio. So you can actually switch screens on your TV and make one full screen, and I'll show you real quick. But you will only get audio out of your main source, and when it's like this, you won't get audio out of any of them. When it's like this, you'll get audio. Get this. See? I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna do all this on capture, but and there you go. See, no sound, and I'm not getting sound out of my camera doing that because, like I said, it's right here into source 2, and source 2 does not do audio on this switcher for whatever reason. I don't know. Let me switch it back. This way I can get sound. I have my camera going directly into my AverMedia, which bypasses the internal HDMI recording because my TV gives me the sound, which picks up my voice as well as the game from the TV. Out of the picture-in-picture device into the capture, out to my TV, which is about a 20-foot HDMI run, and that's why I have the HDMI splitter down there. That's more of a signal booster. So this will capture 1080p 60 frames straight to a micro SD card, and it will do seamless file recording. So right now I have a 128 gigabyte card. So what that means is I can record a 128 gigabyte file in one recording without stopping. It doesn't break the files up for you unless you put it in the format. NTFS, I believe, will do that for you. And I believe the format that it currently is on is FAT32, if I'm not mistaken. But it will record. So just to give you an idea, 2 hours, 2.5 hours will give you somewhere between 10 and 14 gigabytes of a file. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over. Did you get that? I'm going to switch over to the switcher and I'm going to show you the capturing of that. Alright, so here we are on the switcher. As you can hear the game, I disabled the game music due to copyright. I don't think the menu music is really an issue, but I did it anyway because it's just going to sit on this screen for a second until I start playing. I want to go through some of these settings here. So here's your source, and you can switch it. So your camera again is your main source. The reason you're hearing my voice even though it's in full screen is because I'm going into my capture. My capture isn't on the TV. The HDMI output from my capture is. So I'm not hearing my voice on the TV, which would give me an infinite loop and would mess with your audio. So just so you know, I don't hear myself on the TV, but it comes through on the capture. And there is a slight latency if you look at my mouth versus the audio. That is because the HDMI out of this camera has slight lag to it. It's maybe half a second, so that doesn't bother me. Some cameras may have more, some may have none. And if it's none, that's great. This is a decent camera at $200, so I recommend it if you want to do this. Let me switch the source back to my game, which gives me the sound again. Because if I switch it back, there's no sound. You notice that? I had to look at the TV just to make sure it was there. No sound. Yeah, so sound, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to switch modes. Hopefully my capture device don't stop recording on me. Nope, seems to be recording. Here is a side-by-side stretch. Still have sound. Here's a side-by-side in 16:9. Still have sound. I can switch it, the position of it. Well, okay, never mind. Source. There we go. Wrong button. No sound. See? So that's one flaw in the device. There's another one, which it gets quite hot. So those are the two flaws. And there's if you look this up on YouTube here, there's a video where somebody actually mods this and puts vent holes and etc. in it. You can watch that. That's a great video, but if you don't have the means to do it, then you don't really need to worry about doing some sort of mod like that. But I'm going to switch it back so I get my sound. See? There we go. And I'm going to go back to mode again. And I'm going to get the full screen of just the gameplay. There's your sound. Capture is still recording. And here's the picture-in-picture. Now this is where you have picture-in-picture options that are limited, but you do get quite a few. So you actually get 12 different picture-in-picture things you can do. So the bottom left of the screen, the bottom right, the top left, the top right, and I'll go back. Then you have picture size. Right now it's on medium. Here's the large. No, it was on small. Sorry. So small, medium, large. And you can move each one around all the way. And those are your 3 options. So you basically have 12 picture-in-picture sizes that you can do. You know, I wish I had a little more free range, like maybe the center, left and right, and top and bottom center as well. That would be nice, but it's not going to be completely necessary. It just is, it's dependent on the game that you're playing, and you want to try to avoid covering up stuff. Like if we're playing Gauntlet Dark Legacy, I don't want to have it on the bottom because that's going to cover my name and my stats, you know. So you want to be able to, and even the bottom right might cover your other player because it has up to 4 players. Up here it won't, and then of course you can adjust the size of it. There's resolution, which I'm not really going to do because I have it on 1080p 60 frames. Once I switch resolutions, my capture is probably going to shut off, but it does do 720p 60 frames. It does interlace. It does your computer resolutions like 768. That's what the stretched mode is for. You know, the when you go to source, when you go to mode and you flip it, see how it's stretched and it doesn't have the proper aspect ratio. That's what that's for. You know, you have two computers side by side connected, but the reason for this device for me is to not have any computers at all. So let me flip it back to picture in picture. This is the mode that I'm going to be playing on, that we're going to be playing on right now. I have it facing just me on this side. There's a chair on the other side over there for Roy, because I'll have the camera further out, except right now my HDMI cord is only like 4 feet, and I got another one ordered so I can extend it out and then you can see both of us, but he's not here anyway. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get into the gameplay and I'm going to show you. So while I'm recording, in gameplay, of course, I can move the picture-in-picture around. I can resize it accordingly if I have to, you know, all that good stuff. So yeah, I love this device. Before I get into the gameplay though, I do want to say one thing. There's no computer involved in this. No computer at all. I record straight to the capture device. That gives me my file as long as I want the file to be within the 128 gigabytes. I've heard of people saying that it will take a 256 even though it's not officially supported. It probably will. I'm going to try it though. One day when I do, and maybe I'll update this and let you know. There's no computer. I have a nice camera. It's an action camera with a wide screen, great audio on it, HDMI out, all into this whole setup just to get my file into the micro SD card. Can't be any simpler than that. You want to know the price? This, you can get it for $90. The one that does not have a VGA port, which I did forget to mention that. I'm going to test that out as well. This one was $119. I think it's a little expensive for what it does, but it does exactly what I need it to do and what I wanted it for. So I'm willing to pay that price because I don't want to be tethered to a computer with my setup. We don't have any headphones on. We're not wearing any mics. So everything here is just to set up my console, which I can plug any other console in, by the way, through HDMI, and play our games. Make it as simple as possible. And then I take the file and upload it to YouTube. And so this, my capture device, that cost me, there we go. My capture device, that cost $100. I got it on sale. Generally it runs in the $130 range, but you can get it for $99. Actually, I think I paid $115. Yeah, because I found it for $99 on Amazon and I bought it on eBay for $115 because I forgot to look. That was my fault. Micro SD cards, they vary in price. They lower in price all the time. If you want an M Classic to upscale your game to 1080p like this, then that is $99. It's not necessary if you're not going to play retro consoles. And camera, this one was $200, but for me it doubles as a nice camera, 1080p 60 frames with the great audio. So you know, you can pick what you need and what you don't need. And so let me get to the gameplay, you know, just so I'm not here rambling on all day. I didn't want it to be a long review, but real quick. I know, I did say. I'm gonna go to my camera here. Right now it's on auto. I can switch because it's HDMI out, and I'm not actually recording with the camera, I can change the scene settings. So I can mess around with it until I got the right color temperature for my TV, black and white. You know, if you're playing in low lighting, black and white is actually pretty good. It's monochrome is what they listed as. Here's sepia. That's flat. No, that's just flat. So yeah, there we go. I think that one was this is the auto mode. And so now I'm going to flip it back. Now we're going to really play. Okay?
Alright, let's go make some crazy money.
Get comfortable.
Go ahead and pick a car and driver.
Who do you wish that I play as? You know what? Hold on. Options. I'm going to go back to music and put it on where I normally keep it. And this should be, because the music's not too loud for copy protection when it comes to I like BD Joe, but I feel like I drive better with Gus. I like to switch them around to kind of get a better feel of all the characters. But yeah, let's play it real quick. This is my this isn't a true like serious run. I'm gonna do my best, but I'm not gonna. It's not one of those where I'm actually sitting down trying to beat my records, you know. No, that car's never there. Okay, we're done. There we go. Alright, so as far as gameplay goes, you know, going through all these devices, you know, you're wondering, there's got to be latency on here, right? I don't pick up any latency. I'm not super sensitive to it. When there is bad latency, I can tell, but you know, you have to be precision to get these boosts that I'm doing. There's a button combination that you have to be pretty accurate with to get it, and that time I didn't. But for the most part, I'm doing exactly what I need. It's the stopping one that's the hardest for me though. Kind of wondering if the I hope they don't get me for the music because they might. But it's the same volume as I've had it before. So, but yeah, I don't notice any latency. I don't notice any downgrade in the visual quality. You know, nothing. Baseball stadium. I haven't been paying attention where I gotta go. Because generally I keep an eye on it and I know ahead of time, you know, where my next stop is going to be. Like I said, this isn't like one of my, you know, because normally when I'm doing a run, I'm not doing a lot of talking either, which I'm not doing a whole lot right now, but still. Now, mind you, with this picture-in-picture box, you don't have to play games with it. You can put, you know, multiple game consoles up to it. One of them you're not going to have audio on. If your picture-in-picture, you know, input 2, if it's like a Nintendo Switch or like a PlayStation 4 where you have a headphone jack, then you can watch, you know, whatever you want on TV, and your kid can play their game with headphones on, and they can still hear it that way. because you're gonna have audio out. But I just forgot. I could have picked up somebody right behind me. But you don't have to do that. You know, you can just not give them any audio at all. But that's one thing to keep in mind if you're gonna do it. You can have Netflix running and Hulu running on separate devices, you know. But you're only going to have audio coming out of one of them as far as the TV goes, so you're going to need another way to extract audio out of the HDMI. You can hook up your cable box. You know, as far as HD copy protection, I don't know that this device actually bypasses it or not. I know my splitter does. So I don't have any copy protected sources that I could test that with. So yeah, if you feel that this is worth it for you, then the price is worth it. I'm going to test the VGA input, and then I'm going to come back with the recording. But right now, I'm just going to pause it for now, and I'm going to come back and test this VGA port, because I don't know if I showed you the back of it completely. So.